Alright, so today I'm going to be showcasing the brand new New Year's RENJI. Yesterday we showcased Rukia, and the day before that we showcased Ichigo. Recommend you guys check him out if you haven't already seen it, but today we're going to focus on the newest RENJI in the game. One of a rare character too. Like, how many seasonal RENJIs do we have in the game? None, right? Do we have any? Swimsuit RENJI? It really is weird that Ichigo, RENJI, and Rukia are like some of the more popular main characters in this series, and they barely have that many seasonal characters. They have a handful, more so Rukia. But in this case, RENJI got a new seasonal, so let's talk about how good or bad he actually is. So what you will see here is that RENJI is a normal attack damaging character. He wants to do a lot of damage on his normal attacks, so because of that, of course, we're going to focus on building up his attack stat. He's a Sniper ARRANCAR, a melee character with ARRANCAR killer, and what you will notice is that his SA2 is a boost and also barrier move. For a somewhat newish character, especially in 2023, he is lacking a tad bit on the damage output. It's still good, especially when compared to his competitors when it comes to guild quest purposes, because he does want to be used in guild quests. But what you'll see here is that he does have a normal attack damage plus 20% soul trait and a 40% normal attack damage increase only when you are at full stamina. And that's basically all he has when it comes to increasing his normal attack damage. But he does get further buffs, and it mainly is seen in guild quests, because what you will see here is that he does get 10% more melee damage, which then gets increased to 30% in guild quests, and then he has a 30% increase in his killer effect, which then gets increased to 50% in guild quests. So damage wise, when it comes to normal content, he's okay, nothing super crazy, but when you do take him into guild quests, that's when he's going to start shining a bit, because that's when he does the most possible damage. And with that said, he's basically a guild quest character. He wants to be used in the merely ARRANCAR guild quest, and unfortunately I can't showcase that in today's video. We will definitely redo this and try him out in that particular quest when the time does come around, but as of right now, the quest is simply not out. But already from the get-go, we can tell he's going to be a great character for that, because he does have freeze resistance, which is important. That's what the map is on the floor. His 40% normal attack damage increase when only at full stamina is going to be somewhat easier to keep, since he does have a barrier and boost, giving himself a +5 barrier and a +3 barrier to your teammates, since he does have multi-barrier. And then with boost SA2, you're increasing everyone's attack, focus, and defense by 33%. And with all these skills in mind, this allows him to be a pretty good Nash character. If you're someone that is lacking fighters in your Blood War Soifon or Giriko, or you just want to use a safe Naj character that's going to get the job done for the melee ARRANCAR guild quest, this character is for you. However, as already mentioned, we can't showcase him in guild quests, so how exactly does he perform outside of guild quests? Unfortunately, not the best. So jumping into Inheritance Trials to showcase him off, what you will notice right from the get-go is that this character does have one glaring issue, and that mainly comes down to the fact that he does not have guard break. It's very rare for characters not to get guard break, but it does occasionally happen. And I guess you could say it's not that big of a deal because he is a melee ARRANCAR killer, and that probably is why he didn't get guard break, because if you don't know, ARRANCAR enemies don't guard against melee attacks, which is why occasionally you get a melee ARRANCAR killer that doesn't have guard break, because technically they don't actually need it. So when you're using this character in PvE content, where ideally again you do want to have guard break, as long as you're putting him against enemies that he has killer against, he's going to perform just fine. And even then, to be fair, when it comes to this gameplay, even though we are going against some enemies that have some melee guards, it's not that big a deal. What I'm more worried about right now, rather than not having guard break, is the fact that I don't want to take any damage, because again, this character innately has a 20% bruiser, and that's basically about it. His 40% no attack damage comes from being at full stamina, and I'm finding it more hard for me to stay at full stamina because I don't want to take any damage here. Unfortunately, we've already taken a bit of damage now, so we can be a bit more carefree when it comes to our normal attacks, but the downside here is that we're actually losing 40% normal attack damage, right? So unironically, I think one of the bigger problems right from the get-go is not really the lack of guard break. It's mostly the fact that I'm too scared to take damage here. Even with the barrier, I gotta be careful not to take any hits. And in this particular case, it probably isn't the best demonstration because we have the rolling enemies that do a lot of damage. But with the addition that this character doesn't actually have long reach, that's also something I'm noticing. I'm trying to play it really safe here, and it's in doing so is costing me time for the most part, especially as a melee Nad character. One thing I will say though is that I do like the fact that he does have follow-up. Follow-up is for no attack characters, and essentially if you don't know what it is, let me quickly demonstrate it. So when you're knocking an enemy on the floor like this, we can actually hit them right from the get-go. So it allows characters like this, no attack damage characters, to use their strong attacks as a way just to stall the enemy, and then that allows you to actually do damage to them, which kind of goes well with the fact that the character again wants to stay at full stamina, because then you can just use your strong attacks to do damage and basically get a free hit into the enemies. And I do like that, and I do wish more NAD characters would have follow-up. Surprisingly, it's not that common. You think it would be, but I think at this point we probably have more SP characters with follow-up, which really doesn't make that much sense. But with that said, if we can use our boost SA2 and then our sword move. So in that case, I wasn't trying to go for the fastest clay time, but we got a 3-minute clay time. That is absolutely terrible. Let's retry that and try and fix the problem that we do have. And that is the fact that we want to kind of avoid the pools So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the build. This is my current build, by the way. We're going to trade 20% normal attack damage for Nemu, who's offering us poison immunity so we can stand whatever we want to. And then we're also getting an extra bit of recharge so our boost and also barrier can come back a tad bit faster. With the idea that I don't have to potentially dodge any pulls, it's definitely going to be a lot easier for me just to do my damage. Number-wise, we're hitting around 8k. And keep in mind, these enemies are taking 80% less damage. We cannot inflict any stat ailments, but what I am liking once more again is the demonstration of that follow-up skill, because we can use it to knock enemies down and then also do damage to them. Especially when we have to break guard, I guess it kind of makes sense. I'm actually kind of liking it. Now that I've given him full immunity, this actually isn't too bad. Want to make sure we use our normal attacks against these rolling enemies. We don't really want them to hit us for the most part. Let's use our SA3 there. Lovely. Well, we actually can inflict stat ailments. I actually forgot he actually has Lacerate. Would have been nice there if we had a bit of extra long reach. It is kind of annoying that characters nowadays, especially melee ones, not a lot of them have long reach. Again, something that I thought would actually be kind of needed on NAD characters like this. It really is nice to have that extra bit of range, and that's one of the main reasons why I don't like NAD characters, mainly melee NAD characters. Unfortunately, did take a bit of damage there, so we are losing 40% of our normal attack damage. But range NAD characters just have this massive advantage against melee ones, because they have significantly more range, and it really does make a difference. If I'm playing with a NAD character, it's going to be a range one, because they can stay back from afar, do more damage, and they're just safer to play. They don't have to get up close and personal, and they can just do damage from afar. But in this case, to be fair, we're not even going against that many enemies that have melee guards. So we're not even being held back that much by the lack of guard break. I think at this point, now that we actually have full immunity, we did clear a minute faster, so it definitely did make a difference there. But with the lack of range now is what I'm noticing is definitely a bit of the problem here. So when it comes to clearing content like this, I mean, you could use them, sure, if you're a fan. Again, that character like this it wasn't hard. Sure, we're clearing slower compared to an SP character, but he was able to beat it, right? That's the good thing about BBS. Every character can clear content. It just comes down to, are you having fun clearing content with that said character? In this case, I didn't really enjoy that much. I had a better experience in that second run than the first run, mainly due to the fact that we were not immune to poison, but Caleb aren't really giving me a reason to use this character here outside of his designated area, which is melee ARRANCAR guild quest. Which again, he's going to perform great in there. But for PvP content like this, probably not. Maybe when he has killer. Maybe it's better then. But right now, not too pressed. But there is one place where you can actually use this character that is in Guild Quest, and that's Epic Raids. Again, Epic Raid content like this, NAD characters like RENJI actually can perform quite well in, because again, this is where NAD characters more so get to shine a tad bit because of how Epic Raids does work, right? We're going against one boss. Normal attack damage characters like RENJI can just do a lot of damage over time. There's basically no cooldown to it. We're going to do non-stop damage, and in this case, as a bonus ability, I've given RENJI weakened defense, and that's going to allow us to clear this particular phase a tad bit faster, since we are now all doing 30% more damage. Since we are now all basically doing 30% more damage. Can we kill this phase without taking any... close enough. Very close, actually. I thought I was going to die there to the instant kill, but not too bad. Not too bad. RENJI right now, keep in mind, is a bonus. So if you did pull RENJI, you want to get a use out of him, and you are lacking someone like Safwi Kenpachi or that Fierce Battle Byakuya that's on our left, RENJI is going to make for a decent character in this particular Epic Raid, just for the purpose of farming medals, right? He's not a character you're really going to use outside of this particular Epic Raid, unless he's a bonus sometime in the future, potentially sometime in April, when he is set to return. So yeah, RENJI is a pretty good character to use right now, just for that particular purpose for the next 2 weeks. But again, outside of that, you're going to find it hard to use him in Epic Raids, but at least you can get a usage now, right? That's what you can basically say about this particular character. This, once more, is a full bonus team, so we are getting that 200% increase here. Definitely on the slower side, unfortunately, we have some teammates that are dying here. But keep in mind, if you are playing with RENJI in Epic Raids again, once more, you need to make sure you know the pattern, right? In this case, any bit of damage that we take here is going to be quite detrimental, because it means we're going to lose down our 40% normal attack damage. Lucky for me, I'm aware of the pattern, so I know exactly what to do. We're going to back up here. There we go. And then we go for the final attack, where we slowly but surely chip away at Tosho's HP, and then he goes down. Absolutely lovely. In that case, we're getting the 300 medals because we do have that 200% bonus. And we also cleared in 54 seconds, which for a bonus run isn't really the fastest. Last run was actually a lot better. We cleared in around 30 seconds. But overall, decent performance, I guess. So with that said, that's the RENJI showcase for today, the New Year's 2023 RENJI. I think he's a okay character. Again, the lack of guard break is definitely a problem. You want to have your characters have guard break, especially now characters like this. But as mentioned, at least when we played with him, it wasn't that big of a deal. I was more so just worried about taking damage, because any damage he does take, he loses a lot of his damage. That 40% NAD that he does have when at full stamina, I feel like it would have been just better if it was just a bruiser increase. And it is nice that he does have the barrier, but he's not always going to have it. It's going to work well in Guild Quest, because if you clear the quest fast enough, you're probably not even going to lose the barrier, and RENJI will be able to do a lot of NAD damage. It will keep himself safe. It's very similar to the most recently released Segunda Etapa Okura. He wants to stay at full stamina to do most of his damage, but the difference there is, again, Okira is ranged, he has a much easier time doing that, whereas RENJI is melee without long reach, you have to get up close and personal. I wasn't a big fan of that gameplay. He's going to perform well in Guild Quest, probably the best booster for that particular Guild Quest in terms of NAD characters, only competition really being Soifon, but other than that, he's just a mid-okay-ish character, unfortunately. Not a great start to the new year, at least for RENJI fans, but maybe later down the year we are going to get a new RENJI for you RENJI fans to grab at, and hopefully that one does him justice. It's been a while since we received an OP RENJI, and I wouldn't mind for that day to come, hopefully sometime soon. With that said though, in the comments below, let me know what you lads think about this RENJI, and I'll see you lads next time. Take care, and peace.